Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Josh's vlog. And Josh's workouts are pretty short, and again, as we note, this is an example of how we would train someone who knows that they need strength, they know that they need speed, but they're an athlete with other endeavors outside of a strength sport. In his case, he competes very seriously at BJJ, very successfully at it. And again, for him, the strength training is not the primary goal. So, what his training looks like is what you see here. The volume is down at our bare minimums to make progress. We're trying to maximize recovery. So, what's some of the stuff that we see? We take things to a training max, but we don't grind them. All right, we don't grind them. So this week for max effort day for upper, he did his light bands, which are, about 30-pound bands, against a football bar on a bench press. Now, he also only benches and presses close grip because he's got very, very beat up shoulders from competing in his sport. Same thing, we have knee problems, we have elbow problems. None of these are related to his lifting. They're related to the fact that he competes in a combat sport. And I think at the moment, again, we're back to where he's rolling up to 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. Right? So this is someone who is spending 10 or more hours per week with his sport-specific training that involves a lot of contact. It involves a lot of fighting, because that's essentially what it is, combat sport. So accordingly, we have to watch his fatigue. So his upper body days are max effort lift, taken to just a training max. Then we do floor presses. Right, I have him do floor presses because, again, his shoulders were getting a bit inflamed even from dumbbell work for a while. I'll eventually take him back to dumbbell work once I'm sure his shoulders are good. We do inverted rows, and then he does band press downs. And this used to be a case to where for him we were trying to do some fat bar work and other stuff, but we've also seemed to realize that he gets so much grip and grappling and hand manipulation with what he does with his practice that we can't afford it. He doesn't have the grip strength left to do all that stuff, and it would start to interfere with his sport specificity at a certain point. And so that's been the interesting thing with him. Whereas if I have someone who grapples with a lot less time per week, we like to do fat bar work, we like to do grip work, we want to build their grip up. So the problem we run into, though, is at balancing it with his sport specific needs. So again, this is just always shows a different type of athlete, different type of client for people, but we'll notice that the concepts are the same. Concepts are the same. We still train conjugate. Now, max effort lower this week, we did a conventional deadlift against a deadlift bar. And for him, because he has two different barbells, I like to rotate bars for the pulls. All right, we have stiff bar. We have deadlift bar, we can do sumo, we can do conventional, and that's before I get into other variations. For him, that's all I really have to do, though, and I can occasionally throw a wild card in there. I want him doing good mornings, which I've got him doing there, because we discussed that, and he's like, well, I like the RDLs better. I'm like, I don't care. The good mornings are going to give you better carryover for what we're doing. They're going to beat you up less. Going to beat you up less. So his lower body days are very, very simple. We do the max effort squat or deadlift. We may eventually make that a good morning. And we do rep work on good mornings, and then we do glute ham raises, and we do abs. Now, you'll get people who say, is that enough to make progress? Sure. Is it optimal? No, because we're not maximizing hypertrophy. But we get some hypertrophy. And that's the idea. But in his case, we have to recover from what he's doing and understand that over time, these things will add up. They will accumulate. All right, speed benching, we go very, very light speed benching, a lot more volume. So you guys will notice all my athletes like him, we do a lot of volume on the speed work. We tend to do lots of sets. I like 10 triples for the benching. I like 10 or more doubles for the speed boxes and the speed pulls in the same day. Why? We get more explosive training in, and it's very easy on recovery because we run very, very low percentages for him. We're focused on the explosive nature of the movements. Right, so then on his speed bench day, it's very straightforward. We just do pulling and rowing, and we don't do a whole lot of it right now. And then we do band press downs to keep those elbows healthy, to keep the triceps strong. All right, and that's what we need. And I do want to stress for people, if your goal is to maximize size and strength, these volumes are not optimal. If your goal is to make those a secondary priority and you just need to slowly get bigger and stronger, and we need power for a sport in which your recovery is compromised from the sport, training like this makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I want people to also understand having a somewhat manual labor job is different, because you can just keep eating and add rest and other stuff. In his case, we have a weight class to make. All right, he is also a weight class combat athlete. So, lower day, we do speed boxes against bands, which we see nice and explosive there. It's what I want to see. We do speed pulls. I'd love for him to use the bands, but we don't have good band pegs at the moment. All right, I don't have a really good setup for him. I want him to work on finding one a little better in the gym that he can get to quickly. But it's okay, because between the speed squats and the speed pulls, it covers a lot. And then we focus on posterior chain. Right, so we'll do the good mornings, we'll do glute ham raises. And again, that works. We work the entire posterior chain. They're good exercises, and they complement what we're doing here very, very well. And I'm actually glad that he even has access to the glute ham raise. Right, we're lucky to have that in his setup. But, we come over and people would again ask the question, is that enough? And it's like, yeah, that's plenty. Considering he's not a real heavy guy, and he just pulled, 160 kilo deadlift there, and we'll get that up. He'll be up into the 400s. It'll take us a few months, but he'll be there. Right? He'll be there. It works. It's workable. And again, the focus is on the posterior chain. We get quad work with the other stuff, right? There's quad work with those things. But again, he has some knee health issues. His knees get beat up. I want to focus on those hamstrings. I want to get him posterior dominant. Not only because all power starts in the hips, right, and hip extension, but because we have to take care of his knee health. Just like we have to take care of his elbow health and everything. This is what we have to do based upon the needs of him as a fighter. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.